Oh, come on. Come on, you piece of junk. Come on, start, not again. Oh, let's see if the radio still works. Yeah, well,
all that.
Yeah, there's... Oh, that show Motor Mouse is on.
Oh, that show Motor Mouse is on. And good morning and welcome to your Motor Mouse show, your SLO County car talk show featuring Mr. Stop and Mr. Go. This is Jeff Spivak, Continental Motor Works, known as Mr. Go, for the next hour. Sitting next to me, raring to Motor Mouth, is my co-Motor Mouth, Per Matheson, Mr. Stop. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Jeff.
How are you?
I am fine.
Good.
Everything is good.
Everything is good.
Yeah.
Well, we are here to talk with you about your car. We are the Motor Mouths. We're a live call-in car talk show. And we have things that we could talk about, like, you know, say hot weather driving and safe driving and best driving practices, which I have. But, you know, our goal in this hour is not to get to our topic. And the way that and the way that works is if you call us. So if we get enough phone calls that we don't get to our topic, that's really a successful show. So be that first caller. 543.
Then the show becomes a mystery show.
A mystery show. Yeah. Yeah. That could happen.
So what were they going to talk about?
Yeah, right.
That's right. So you can call us. If you're the first caller, you're going to win a premium. I had a gentleman stop in this week and pick up a canvas bag because he was the first caller last week, and I got to meet him, which is very nice to meet the people that have been listening and calling to the show. We had a long conversation about cars and life and stuff. So give us a call, 543-8830. And if you're that first caller, you're going to win a premium at Continental Motor Works. Anything that you have about cars that you could that you would like to talk about, if you have a car question or a funny noise or a warning light on, or maybe your car is there's a pet peeve about another driver on a show on the road.
The road.
Yeah, the road. Thank you. I needed that.
Not a pet peeve about one of the hosts on the show, but
yeah, if you got one of those too, we'll hear it. That's all right. We want to know what you want us to talk about also, so call in about that. Or if you're having a relationship issue that relates to your car, we'll put you on the Motor Mouth couch. So give us a call, 543-8830. Love to get a call early in the show instead of kind of stacking up at the end.
First call coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, actually. There you go.
So one of the how was your week, Matt?
Fine. I had the visit of my daughters.
Nice.
They came down, both of them, and one came from Arizona and the other one down from Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them came from really hot weather, 110, 100 and more.
Yeah.
And they were very happy to be in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, when are you going to move here?
It's been hot out there, hasn't it? In the country in general. So what did they say about moving here?
Well, I think that my oldest daughter might consider moving here. She needs to retire she has a job in Sacramento from the state, and she needs to retire from that before she do that.
Okay, we're going to get back to this topic. But first, let's talk to Dan in SLO. And I think we even have another call coming in. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Good morning, Jeff. Very good. Yes, I missed your show last couple of weeks. I was out of town, and I was driving to Ventura, but heading south in my 1991 Dodge van, the check engine light came on in Santa Maria, so I pulled off. My alternator is usually up at 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
It went down to halfway, kept going down to like 1/4, and so I got off the freeway, knowing that, okay, maybe I lost a belt and the alternator's not making electricity. Anyway, I stopped at the red light, and the alternator went back up to normal, like 3/4, and I pulled over into the parking lot and shut the engine off and checked the belt. When I restarted it, the check engine light disappeared. Now, is there a computer that'll tell me what happened at that moment, or does that electrical failure have to keep happening in order to diagnose it?
Well, good question. So it will have stored a fault code if the check engine light came on, and assuming that your car retained that fault code, it will tell us some information. But more than likely, I would guess that you have the beginnings of an alternator going out. But you definitely did the right thing. So what you do in that case is exactly like you said. You stop, turn the car off, turn it back on again. Go out, pop your hood open. Number one, make sure that the battery cable ends on the battery are tight and clean and that you cannot move them. That would be a number one, the easiest thing that it could possibly be. And then number two, get a nice bright flashlight and follow that wiring, the cables. Just follow them. Make sure that your ground is going to ground and it's tight, the other end of it. And then look at the other end of the positive cable, which you may not be able to follow so easily, but it eventually ends up at your alternator and going back into the car. And then look at the back of the alternator. Make sure the belt is tight and make sure the connections on the back of it are tight. And if all of those things look good, it most likely is the beginning of an alternator going out.
Right on, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that.
But those are some things that you can look at, and if you find a loose connection, you may get lucky, and it may just be a loose or corroded connection. But, yeah, interesting. It's nice that at least it came back. I had another car come in this week that did that. Intermittently, it would kick on the battery warning light, and then it would go off and on. It was the alternator just starting to go out, and then eventually it did. Their battery went dead. But you haven't had a dead battery.
No, but you're right. I did check the battery cables, but I didn't follow them under to see that they're connected underneath.
And in a van, that's not going to be so easy because everything gets buried pretty quick. But do your best, and then look at the back of the alternator. Make sure those are tight. Do the jiggle test, and follow the ground to the ground. And so just look at that stuff the best you can. And, we'd be glad to retrieve a code and test the charging system for you because I wouldn't take another trip. Having that happened is, I would say, like 80% that you're going to need an alternator.
Yes, I concur, Jeff. I was crossing my fingers on the way back from Ventura, hoping that it wouldn't. And it did happen at Los Alamos, and I pulled off again, the same thing. Mm-hmm. So you're right, it's going to go. Jeff, I'm going to be in to see you this week. What's
nice about Dan's car, though, is, new cars, they don't have gauges anymore. Most of the, even a coolant gauge. A lot of them don't even have a coolant gauge. I like it when you have a charging gauge and a coolant gauge. At least you can see what's going on.
I agree with you.
Instead of, we call them idiot lights, where it's, so. Hey, Dan, really good call. We appreciate your call, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks again for being a part of the Motor Mouth Show here. And you were the first caller, so stop in and you won a premium at Continental Motor Works. And let's go from Dan in SLO to Wayne in Arroyo Grande. Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing great so far. My question is, my wife's got a 2013 VW Passat diesel, one of them smoggy guys, and we were wondering if you guys know of anyone who has had the conversion done and how it affects the mileage. They say that it'll maybe drop a mile off of her average mileage, driving mileage, and also they say that it might cause a little bit more engine noise, and she's really concerned, I think, more about the engine noise than the mileage. But just wondered if you guys know anything about the conversion and on that diesel.
So is this converting the car from like Judaism to Christianity, or what are we converting?
Well, it's their fix for making it smog legal.
I know, I'm kidding.
I know.
It's still a diesel.
Yeah.
We want to stay away from that the religious part.
Yeah, but it's still a diesel. They don't convert it over to a gas engine.
No, we don't want to do that.
Okay, so
I believe this is going to be Volkswagen. This is what Volkswagen is doing to make the cars smog legal, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
So in other words, this big thing that they messed up with the testing and they falsified the testing and messed with it. And so they have a computer update, I believe. And I don't know what else did. Do you know any of the details of what they actually do, Wayne?
No, I don't. I think on her model it's just the software upgrade.
I'm not So I'm going to give you a story about my Nissan Leaf. So I got a factory notice that said, come in for a free factory update on the car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And so I did it because I figured, hey, factory update, it's going to be good for the car.
Yeah,
it's
right.
going to make it better. Well, it didn't. I got worse range. So what they were doing was protecting their batteries. And they reprogrammed the computer so that you'd get less range and that the batteries would last longer. But I didn't like the less range. So, and they wouldn't change it back. After I found out what it was, I didn't do enough research in the first place. And so I would talk to people first and be a little wary about exactly what it's going to do, because the things that you're talking about could happen. It could get poorer gas mileage, and it could have other effects like maybe noisier. Although I don't see why it would be noisier. That doesn't necessarily make sense to me.
Right, right.
So let's put that out on the air for people. We're looking it up online right now to see if there's any information on it, but we'll have to do a little research on that. But I know I have quite a few customers that have the newer Volkswagen diesels. So has anybody out there had this Volkswagen program update done to make the car up to smog standards, and how has it affected your car? Let's put that out there on the lines and call us at 543-8830. And so keep listening, Wayne. So how you've had your Passat diesel since new?
Yes, we have.
And have you been happy with it?
Oh, well, my wife's happy, so I'm happy.
Yes, good idea.
But she loves the car. Yeah, there's been a few little upgrades. Well, like the airbag, she had to go in and get that changed, but that's true with a lot of different cars.
Yeah,
and
a lot of cars, yes.
Yeah, and then she had a little deal on her heater but it was all under warranty, so she's been happy with it. And so that's why we called. We figured somebody that's listening might have had this done, and it'd be nice to know how what they think about the conversion. So,
have you been happy with the fuel economy, the gas?
Oh yeah, real good. It's up around. She gets pretty much real close to 40 all the time, and we live out in the country on the windy road, and so it's not the best, conditions for getting the best mileage.
Sure,
but she's been happy.
That's great.
So,
all right, Wayne. Wayne from Rio Grande wants to know if anybody out there has had the Volkswagen diesel update from the factory and how it's affected your car. So we'll see that, and if we don't get a call today, I'll do a little research on it, and we'll see what we come up with.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you, Wayne. Appreciate your phone call.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
More people are buying diesels, and more diesels available. My daughter and son-in-law, they just bought a new GMC small pickup with the extended cab with a 4-cylinder diesel. And they drove it down from Sacramento and down here for the first time and so forth. And they were happy with the mileage they got on it, and they were happy with the power it has going up the hills and stuff like that. So evidently, the smaller diesels are okay. Now they have to take and put some extra stuff in the diesel so it doesn't smoke. So anyway, they're happy.
Yeah,
but
good.
An American car.
Yeah, anybody out there that's bought a recent smaller diesel truck or engine, call us and give us your experience. 543-8830. I think we're going to go to our first break of the day. We're the Motor Mouse, Matt and Jeff. We are here to talk with you about your car. So far, it's been successful. We haven't gotten to our topic, so that's our goal today.
Yes.
And so keep calling us, 543-8830, and we'll be back.
And I got a classic commercial here. We were kind of previewing this before the show. The 1971 Plymouth Duster. Yeah, is this going to be a good car?
It's a good 70s commercial.
Yeah, a good 70s commercial. 1971 Plymouth Duster.
Mr. Titchener, I'm concerned about my Ethel. Instead of a nice young man, all she's interested in is one of your cars.
Hard to believe, Mama.
198 cubes, 3.4-inch bore, 4 main bearings. It ought to be easy on gas. Mr. Titchener, may I give it my own little test now?
Give it the works, Ethel. The Duster's big enough to take it.
I like the torsion bar suspension with the lateral control arms. And the body, reinforced by steel girders welded into a single unit. No wonder it's so popular. And the size, small enough for tight little spaces.
Mr. Titchener, what kind of a young man would be attracted to this Plymouth dustpan?
The Duster, Mama? Why, an engineer would love it.
An engineer I got. What I need now is a son-in-law.
When it's time to service your car,
Or a warning light is starting to glow.
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow.
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
Hi, this is Jeff Spivak, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Here's some inside information to get your gas mileage back. Inside your engine, carbon builds up, clogging the injectors and combustion area. If you want your fuel system cleaned in just one tank of fuel, use what the inside car guys use most. It's called BG44K. In fact, service managers use it almost 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG.
That's the girl that she wanted to be. She said, baby, can't you see? I'm only famous, star of the screen. But you can do something in between. Baby, you can drive my car. If I'm gonna be a star. Baby, you can drive my car. Baby, I love you.
Lots of car songs out there. There's one from the Beatles. And we're back to the Motor Mouth Show here with Matt and Jeff. We are here till 9 a.m. this morning to talk with you about your car. That's what we do.
I got a question about my car.
Okay, good. Okay? We're going to mention the phone lines, 543-8830. That's 543-8830. Love to hear from you. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, well, I think we've talked about this before, but it's been a little while. I got a spider that just loves living in my rearview mirror on the passenger side, and so I'll wash the car, knock the spider web off. It'll build it again in a day or so, and then I'll go, knock it off, just by dusting it off. And
he likes you, man.
He just loves me.
He's a car spider,
right? Yeah. So I'm just kind of curious. A good way of convincing the spider that my rearview mirror is not a good house for him.
Yeah. Okay.
If he can canned
keep
air.
some mosquitoes away.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, so you could spray something like they say that you could take a pepper spray. Put a couple drops of sriracha or something like that in water in a spray bottle and spray that on there, or garlic. Spray. I'm thinking of natural remedies.
They don't like garlic.
Of course, you could spray the poison stuff on there too, and that probably would help. But I don't like that smell.
Yeah.
Huh?
How do you know what they like and don't like?
I've talked with them. I had some long talks with the spider.
Yes, What can I do to convince you to move out is what he's done. But I didn't know about what I could spray in there without affecting the electronics somehow. or the.
You're going to spray it inside.
Well, or if it's just on the outside.
Yeah, if you just spray it on the outside, I'd say, in my opinion, would be that if you pepper like a sriracha or just a couple of drops of pepper oil, and you put it in hot water and shake it up, and then spray it on there and then just let it dry on there. Yeah. See if that works.
We'll see how that works then.
Yeah. You could put a sign up.
Please don't live here.
Yeah, spiders, we like you.
Eviction notice.
Yeah.
That's what you need, eviction notice, yeah.
Well, maybe it's a vampire spider. That's why the garlic.
He's got a nice little home in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, it's sheltered and everything, when I'm driving down the road, there's probably no wind.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. And probably a fly flies on.
I happen to be a big spider. I'm a spider fan. I like spiders, except for black widows.
Yeah, right.
I do not tolerate black widows, but I pretty much I like their webs. I like that they eat the bugs.
Yes.
So I don't mind having a couple spiders in corners here or there.
Oh, no.
But I don't know if I necessarily want one on my car.
Well, the thing is,
I wouldn't. I don't know.
How much can he obstruct your outside mirror?
Is the web on the back, or does the web go over the mirror?
It goes over the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
But how much?
Not a lot, but it does go over the mirror.
Can you see sort of through the webbing? I mean,
it's kind of like a horror movie.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I can see through the webbing. It's just kind of, it doesn't make the car look real pretty driving down the road out in cobwebs.
So who's looking except you looking at the rearview mirror?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe passengers.
They wouldn't look at the mirror.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, and like you said, I mean, you want to take and keep him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Doesn't sound like Jim wants to keep him.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Of course, you could try to vacuum him out of there.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that would work.
Yeah.
Huh. I was just kind of curious about that.
But is it a hole in the mirror someplace?
Well, I mean, there's little nooks and crannies. He's living behind the mirror there, and he, at night he makes a web so he can have a little breakfast.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can't blame him.
No, I don't want to. I would want to eat too if I was a spider, but
Any of you out there that have encountered car spiders?
Yeah.
Okay, might be a first for the show. Mm-hmm. I know we've had car rodents. We've had car marmots.
Yeah, right.
That eat your wiring and stuff like that. But I don't know if we've had any discussions about car spiders.
No.
Yeah. So those of you that, what would you do to get a spider out of your mirror? Give the Motor Mouse a call, 543-8830. Mm-hmm. Love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Our goal today is to not get to our topics here. Yeah. So we need to keep on having phone calls. So it's 543-8830. Anything about cars that you want to talk about. If you have a funny car story, pet peeve about the way Matt drives, you want a pat on the back for maybe a local repair shop or body shop or dealership or paint shop, any automotive-related shop that you've had a positive experience with, let's pass the word to others. And if you're having a funny noise, So we had a car. So we had a couple of center supports that went bad this week.
Center supports.
Yeah, the propeller shaft, the drive line going from the front, and the center, and the car would go clunk, 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 clunk as it would drive. We'll get back to that topic because I think first we better talk to Steve from Atascadero. Hi, Steve.
Hello, Jeff. How are you doing today?
We're good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to make a comment about the spider. You have to be careful because it might be a protected species.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's. How do you tell the difference?
Well, he's going to have to get one of those little scope cameras that he can put behind his mirror and see what kind of spider it is. Yeah, because it might be there's certain spiders that only live in cars that are protected, federally protected.
Oh, federally?
Yeah.
I mean, is there a list of spiders? How do you look up and see what spiders are good and what is?
Did we lose Steve?
I think so.
Oh, sorry. That was a good one, though. I like that. So, be careful, Jim.
It might be federally protected.
Yeah.
Federally protected.
Yeah. Well, you know what? The only car that might be allowed in is, remember the Fiat Spider?
Yeah. Okay. But,
so if you had a Fiat Spider, You know, you already have a
right.
spider.
Yeah, right.
You know, I guess we're going to talk to Susie from Grover. Hi, Susie.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going great today.
Good.
I've got the same exact problem. It's in my side view mirror.
You have a mirror spider also.
Boy,
Yes. You can clean those cobwebs off, and the next day they're right back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm
sad.
going to try peppermint oil.
So you know what you might I think there's a federal spider relocation program.
I do the capture and release when I can get to them.
Yeah.
Well,
So
you know, if they take and park their cars next to each other, maybe those spiders one would move to the other one.
Yeah.
And so then, or the other way around.
Well, but those spiders might be on spidermatch.com.
Yeah, and they might be kind of willing to produce other spiders.
Yeah, so they might want to meet, you know.
I have
So,
never
Susie, what have you
actually
done?
seen the spider.
So it doesn't bother you,
I haven't either.
Susie? You just kind of live with it?
Yeah, I deal with it. Now, my neighbor, she takes and mixes a little bit of peppermint oil and water
there you
and
go.
sprays around her baseboards and stuff, and she
Yeah.
says she swears it keeps the spiders out of her
That's
house.
a good idea.
You have to give that a try, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
and I'm like you. I do the capture and release,
Oh, yeah.
except if it's a black widow, then squish.
Yeah. It's like-
You know, you can find him, you know, I don't know. I think there's a better home for a spider than a car mirror.
I think so, too.
You know,
No.
because, no?
No, I mean,
Well,
think about this.
yeah.
Here you get a free ride at least
Yeah.
once a day or maybe twice a day.
That's true.
You get nice ventilation, depending on where
I
you
hadn't
are.
thought about it, really.
The spider
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
And fresh air.
And
Nice temperature.
Susie, are your mirrors electric? In other words, you can operate them, right? So you're kind of giving the spider a massage when you're moving your mirror. It's kind of going,
Possibly, yeah.
It's like one of those massage chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, it's just funny. But she's right.
So
I mean, you can wipe the
Susie
thing
has
off.
chosen to live with her car spider.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
coexisting.
Oh, it's not like
Yeah.
I'm not going to drive the car because
Have
I
you
got a
ever
spider.
seen the spider?
No,
Never.
I have never seen the spider. No.
Yeah.
No, and you can wipe it off. Then you got all that sticky cobweb on your fingers, and
I got an idea.
okay.
You could do one of those time-lapse cameras on your mirror overnight, and then you would see the spider.
See the spider?
Yeah, you could see him doing his web, or her.
Yeah.
And then you would at least see what kind of spider it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, see if it's protected or not.
Yeah.
I think it's got to be a pretty small spider.
It's got it.
You would think so.
I would think it's
Yeah.
not. It's definitely not like
Maybe
a
this is
tarantula
a
or
species
something like
of
that.
spiders that we don't know about. Maybe this is a mirror spider.
Yeah, could be.
Ooh, could be.
Nobody's ever seen him.
A power mirror spider.
Anyway.
Well, I mean,
Like I adjust my mirrors, and when they're right, I don't move them.
yeah,
You know,
right.
so
I
it's-
agree with you.
Well,
Yeah.
Susie, thank you for sharing your car mirror spider experience with us.
Okay, I'll try the peppermint oil, and then I'll get back to you guys.
Thank you, Susie.
Have a good weekend. See you later. Thanks for calling.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, from Susie in Grover, we're staying in Grover and talking to Gloria. Hi, Gloria.
Good morning.
Thanks for holding. How are you?
Fine. I want to ask about, I have a 2006 Hyundai Azura,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the car very much. But my question is about gasoline. I have been using the lowest grade gasoline in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and a friend of mine was telling me now that the car is older,
Mm-hmm.
I should up it.
Okay.
Is there any reason to go to the higher grade gasoline?
Well, let me ask you a few questions first, and then I'll answer your question. So, what kind of driving do you do? Is it mostly local, or do you travel at all?
Yeah, I go to Paso a lot, so I'm on the
Paso.
freeway.
Okay, so you do drive the grade. So that's one of the harder, if you do harder driving, and I consider the grade harder driving on your car than like normal commuting. then there is a case to be made for a higher octane gas. So if you were telling me, hey, I just commute from Grover to San Luis every day, and that's mostly the driving that I do, then I would have said, you're probably fine with the regular or the lowest grade. Mm-hmm. But if you go the grade like many times a week, I would probably move up. And the reason is do you know what we call pinging? Have you ever heard of that or no?
I have heard, but I don't have that.
Okay. So it's hard to hear it, but especially if it's hot and your car is going up or down the grade and it pings at all, it's really not good for the engine. And that's really what you're trying to prevent with the higher octane gas. So, this is a real controversial topic. There's been articles written about it. Some people say, no, you can use the lower grade gas and your engine computer system should adjust your parameters of your fuel mixture and your timing, and it'll be okay. And other people say, no, as your engine gets older, and if you drive things like the grade, then you're probably better off to go to, let's say, the medium grade. So my opinion is that you could do a blend. You could, let's see, when you go to the gas station, do they have 3 choices?
They do.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and do you drive the grade every day?
No, just like a couple times a week.
So maybe you could do, I don't know if you can put that kind of gas in it when you're going to go over the grade, but that would be my advice. If you can.
Okay, how often do you put the gas in a car?
Good question. About once a week.
Once a week, all right. So 1 week take and put in a regular, and the next week put in eye test.
I'd go to the medium. I'd move up.
Right, yeah.
I'd move up to the medium grade.
And 87 is the lowest, right?
Yeah. So go to the medium, the 89, and either that or maybe what kind of gas do you use? Do you like going?
I use the Mobile.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It's got all kinds of stuff in it, right?
Yeah. The Mobile has detergents in it. It's good to use a name brand gas, and you're using a name brand gas, so that's nice. And the reason they say that you want to put a higher octane gas in your car as it gets older is because it'll have more of a tendency to have deposits on the valve, and it'll have more of a tendency to ping. If you don't hear pinging and you have a really sharp ear, then you can probably stay with the lowest grade. But if you want to be 100%.
Okay. Or I could alternate low and second.
Every other tank. Yeah. Something like that.
Okay. And the other thing is I get about 19 miles a gallon, 19 miles per gallon. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah.
Is that about right? Okay. Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you. Is that about right for a car my age and the car I have? Because I have over 100,000 miles on it, obviously.
400? How many miles?
100,000.
100,000. Oh.
So if you were to be driving on the highway a lot, then you could probably get more like 20 something. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing more, stop and go, then you're going to get under 20.
Yeah.
And the combination of both is probably still a little bit under 20, but 19 ain't bad.
Okay, good. Okay, guys, that answers my question.
Gloria, thanks a lot for calling.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good luck with
Bye-bye.
that. See you later. I guess it's probably time to go to our second break.
Yeah, we might as well. We don't have anybody on hold or anything like that.
This has been great. You guys are all keeping us from getting to our topic.
Yes.
Which is great. So we've had Dan and Wayne and Steve and Susie and Gloria call, and you've all been, great, interesting topics. So we want to invite more calls.
Yeah.
543-8830. That's 543-8830 to reach your Motor Mouse. We're going to go on a break, and we'll be back.
And I got a classic commercial for the 1955 Packard. Packard push-button drive transmission.
There you go. I remember that.
An automatic push-button selector that controls our automatic transmission by an electronic device, as easy as turning on a light. It gives you instantaneous drive range selection at the touch of a finger. Touch the button, and away you go. Truly automatic motoring.
What a wonderful convenience. Real real touch-and-go driving.
There's nothing like it. Puts an exciting new sensation in driving. Like taking off on a trip to the moon.
Hi, this is Jeff Spivak, Motormouth co-host and owner of Continental Motorworks. What can you expect here at Continental? We will treat you and your car with care and respect and gratitude. We will bend over backwards to earn your trust. You will fully understand what we are doing on your car and know how much it will cost before we do the work. You will always get value, a fair exchange. You work hard for your money. We believe we should work smarter and harder for what you pay us for. Now in our 36th year, we fix it all. Cars, trucks, SUVs, and hybrids.
Call Jeff at Continental Motorworks at 541-1464. Mention this ad and receive 10% off labor.
Your car's fuel economy was never better than when it was new. But time and miles have robbed your car of its MPG and performance. Service managers recommend BG44K to remove carbon and restore mileage in just one tank of fuel. In fact, dealerships nationwide use BG44K almost 3-to-1 over any other product. To find a shop with BG products, go to bgfindashop.com.
BG. Can you imagine selling your car next week and saying to the buyer, hey, don't worry, because the engine is covered against failure for life. It's called the Lifetime Protection Plan for the Engine from BG Products. Now imagine having this huge benefit free with your next oil service when you remember these two letters, BG. BGMOA is available at over 20,000 shops nationwide. Find yours at bgfindashop.com. That's bgfindashop.com.
BG. When it's time to service your car,
or a warning light is starting to glow,
go see the pros at Absolute Auto.
At the corner of Sacramento and Capitolio.
Having a problem with the brakes or the steering down below?
Or an alignment to adjust the tow?
Computer systems, they do know.
Call 543-8737 to reach Absolute Auto.
A web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out! Here comes the Spider-Man. Is he strong? Listen, bud.
Okay, we're back to the Motor Mouth Show here, talking a little bit about car spiders in your mirror, and then I think the best solution we've come up with is someone says that you can get some peppermint spray and spray it in there, and they don't like that.
No.
So, or you just coexist.
Yeah,
you know,
right, of course it's
nice to have some company on the road.
Right, you can talk to it.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Yeah.
I put a camera in the car, so when I'm driving down to Santa Maria and I got the camera on, I can, if somebody doesn't, if something happens, at least I got something going on.
Yeah,
and nothing has caught my attention too much on the road. It's pretty good. In the morning, very easy ride down to Santa Maria, coming back at noontime, especially if you get the vacation traffic out of L.A., then it's pretty bad. Yeah, because the traffic...
There's been quite a bit lately.
But going home, going up the canyon, Perfuma Canyon, I got behind some bicyclists. I think it was 5 of them. But they were going 3 abreast. I had to honk the horn to get by. Mm-hmm. And then I got up to where my off... going up my driveway, and I stopped to get my mail. And you could hear them coming up the canyon for about a half a mile talking. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, they go for a ride. Is that the reason they go for a ride?
Yeah. Sure, a lot of people, there's a camaraderie and all that. It's kind of nice. It's nice to ride with friends and talk, and kind of like walking and talking.
Yeah, walking and talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the one guy was... I think you heard that on the read it in a newspaper one guy was coming down Presuma Canyon. He was going more than 40 miles an hour on the bicycle, and that's pretty fast for that road.
Yeah, it's too fast.
That's so. Anyway, that kind of interesting. That's the only thing that I got on the camera. That's I mean.
So you use your camera for backing up, though.
Well, I got a different camera for that.
Oh, I see. So this is just a camera to watch people behind you, huh?
No, front.
Oh, it's a camera in front.
Yeah, front cam.
Okay.
I was coming up, driving up the canyon.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can record it if you want.
Oh, yeah, so you record it, all recorded.
Okay.
So I got that.
Okay.
That kinda
so watch out. If you're riding in front of Matt, you may be being recorded.
Yes, you are being recorded, let me tell you.
Yeah,
For sure.
So don't pick your nose or anything.
No.
Yeah, because Matt will get it on camera.
And, talking so much they can hear a car coming. And I mean, that's too dangerous.
Well, let's talk to Matt. Now that we're talking about Matt, let's talk to another Matt.
Yeah.
Hi, Matt.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Go and Mr. Stop. You got to go first before you can stop. You guys have it backwards. Stop English. Go and stop.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends all the way you look at it. So sometimes you got to stop before you go.
Yeah, but you couldn't have got to the stop to go before you go.
Well,
that's about like the arguments about the little spiders.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But the important thing is that stopping is more important than going.
At times, they're both important. Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm glad we straightened that out.
Hey, I don't know, did you take a notice there was some advertising and something going on about they were going to take and change the fines for people doing traffic stops, that the people that didn't make very much money would not get fined as much as the person that made money. And, that reminded me of what you told us on the air many years ago, that in Finland, the
sliding scale.
The sliding scale, that the rich people pays a heck of a lot more fines than the poor people.
Yes, that is true. It's based on income. Yeah. And by the way, when the police stops you, they log in on their computer and they know exactly what your tax returns show, because income tax returns are public information in Finland.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, right. So, they have advertised your tax return in the newspapers.
Wow.
Big whole pages.
It's a different world.
The reason I called this morning is because they're talking about the VW Passat diesels.
Right.
And I had one, and mine was a 2013, just like the other gentleman who called earlier. Mm-hmm. I decided to turn mine in. I had just over 50,000 miles, and we liked the car very well. It was very spacious inside, and the mileage was excellent. They gave us, based on the mileage, they gave us an offer of $19,000 plus $6,000 goodwill, whatever that adjustment basis. So I figured I have a 3-year-old car, and I'll get $26,000 for that, which I accepted that offer and sold it, and then I bought another diesel. Because I like diesels. My truck is a diesel also, and I think they're very, very excellent. But then in addition to that, Bosch, which designed the injector model, they also just sent me a check for $350 because they were part of that same scandal, but just on the injector side. So we just got a $350 bonus on top of that. So that's good. Yeah.
So what did you end up when you turned in your Passat? What did you end up buying?
I bought another diesel, which is a BMW 328 diesel.
Which is a little more unusual.
Well, it is. Yes, it is. And that's why when I saw that, I said, ooh, that caught my interest right away, having had 2 Beamers a long time ago. And I do say that its performance is a notch above the VW. There's nothing wrong with the VW performance. I liked it very well.
Yeah.
But there's a different level that the BMW has. And it has electronic gadgets and all the moving map and whatever all that stuff is, and the heads-up display for speed. And so it's a very fancy car, but we like it. The VW was a little bit more spacious for the back seat, but there's ample room for me, and I'm 6'3", and no problems at all. So I like that very well.
And how long have you had it?
I've had that about 6 months now.
And
no problems at all.
Really? You haven't had to go back in once?
No.
Some of these cars they make so well these days. It's amazing. Remember when you'd buy a car and you'd have to go back in? I mean, every once in a while you get a car that either is a lemon or has problems. But like my wife has a Mazda 3. It's an 08. She's never gone back for a warranty issue.
Well,
not once.
It's the person involved. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, the car hasn't been problematic either, though. I mean, it's amazing.
That's true.
But you're right. Some people are going to go back and pick at everything, and other people aren't, and it depends on the way you use the car. But it's been a great car.
I mean, they are lasting so much more than they used to do years ago.
But you'd think they build a new car, and you've got a kink here or a kink there, and you'd think you'd go back a couple times for a warranty issue or a rattling or something. But to not have to go back at all for anything is it's impressive.
It is, and I'm very pleased about that.
Yeah.
Incidentally, on the VW, just before we made the trade, we had the internal fuel pump busted, and it sent all kinds of metal pieces all over the system.
Like the whole system,
The whole system,
Problem.
So, it stopped dead. My wife, fortunately, was able to coast off to the side of the freeway, but. So the car was not drivable at all, and the VW paid for the whole repair, and the bill on that was over $5,000. They did that locally here. They did a good job, but they said that wasn't the first time they've seen that happen.
No, I've had a couple customers
has not recognized that as a flaw.
Right. No, I've had a couple customers tell me the same story. It's been a tough one.
How long did a warranty like that last?
Oh, I don't remember. It might be 100,000 miles.
Well, I mean, that would be a factory warranty if something like that busted, right? And they pay $5,000. I mean, if you get a bill like that after the warranty is over,
that's debatable. So I think their original warranty on the car was 3 years, 36,000 miles. But then there's an emissions warranty that's 770. So when you get something happening with the fuel system, do they define it as an emissions related warranty?
Thank you. I that's a good clarification. I appreciate you telling me that because I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, good. Well, thank you very much for your show. Keep going, and we appreciate that. I call in every once in a while, and usually it's my running time on Saturday morning, so I don't always get to talk to you. But
always a pleasure, Matt. Thank you very much for calling and being part of the show. And
you bet. Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Thank you. All right. So we've had calls from Dan, and Dan calling about his perhaps failing alternator on his Dodge van. Wayne called about his 2013 Volkswagen Passat diesel, which Matt just touched on as perhaps should he go in for that factory update, and is that going to be detrimental to his gas mileage? Steve from Atascadero called about spiders. Yeah. Did he call about spiders? No, I'm
No, he didn't call about spiders. No. I called about spiders.
That was calling about spiders. Okay, then Susie called back to say she also had a mirror.
Oh, no. Steve did call about spiders. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's right. He kind of mentioned and said, that could be a protected species.
Yeah.
So we've had a theme of spiders, car spiders, on the show with other things going on also. So, and then of course, Gloria called with her Hyundai and gas mileage and perhaps which grade of gas to use, which is a very commonly asked question. A lot of times you open that gas door on your car and it tells you that you need, let's say, 91 octane, but do you really need the 91 octane? So, and then as your car gets older, should you go to a higher grade of gasoline? And I think in some cases, if you do more harder driving on the car, like I would consider going over the grade, harder driving the car, then I think it warrants that.
You know what I do sometimes on my car, I probably buy gas once a month. And so I put a higher test gas because I think that the higher octane gas will last longer. But it maintains its stability longer than the low grade of gas. And same thing if I buy gas to use in my lawnmower and so forth, I also use the higher octane.
And you're only talking about how much?
Well, $5
per gallon.
No, about 10.
Is it $1?
10, no. 20 cents, something like that.
So I mean, it's not a lot of money when you think about it. So it might be a couple dollars for a fill-up.
Yeah, sure. It is. Oh, yeah, for a fill-up, yeah.
So, but that, how much is that over a year? So if you fill up your car once a week, so that's $2 a week.
Yeah.
So it's $100 a year.
Yeah. But see, once a week, I don't think it's that much make a difference as far as the quality of the gasoline. But if you
I think it's worth $100 a year to go to a higher grade gas.
Yeah.
Now, if it was $500 a year or $1,000 a year, but I think, if you figure it out how much it costs you over a year, and I think if it's $100 or even $200, it might be worth it.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing to think about.
Yeah. Another thing about the engine on that car, driving down the road 65 miles an hour, and then the battery goes out, so then the engine has to start. So the engine on that car has to start and drive the car immediately. There's no time in between to get the engine warmed up and so forth. I figured that having a good grade gasoline in that is better.
I think it's worth the investment, especially if you don't use a lot of gas.
That's right.
It's not that expensive. Hey, I think it's about time to close the show down. We have 3 minutes left, and we want to thank our callers that we just mentioned, all of them, including Matt at the end. Thank you very much. Interesting calls. And we want to thank our sponsors for paying the freight on the show. We have our longtime sponsor, BG Products. You can look them up at bgfindashop.com, featuring such great products that we endorse as 44K fuel system cleaner and synthetic transmission fluids and gear oils that we carry at Continental Motor Works, and we can talk to you more about that. You can look them up online. Absolute Auto. Go see Jason in Charlotte for excellent local conscientious automotive repair. They can service your car. They can do alignments. They can do all kinds of different repairs. I know Jason even likes to dabble in perhaps a forklift or a tractor or something like that. So go talk to them. Continental Motor Works, we are open 7:30 to 5:30 Monday through Friday. You can reach us at 541-1464. And Bike Slow County, endorsing and advocating for safer cycling in our county, for better bike lanes, more bike lanes, and we not only do driving classes for children in the schools, but we also do adult driving classes. So if you are considering starting to ride a bike and you're a little bit fearful about the laws and how to do it confidently, I really strongly encourage you to go take an adult riding class through Slow Bike County. It'll make you a better, confident, safer rider. Okay, well, it looks like the sun is coming out finally. It's a little windy out there. I think it's going to be the high of about 79 today here in San Luis. So it's going to be another beautiful day, and enjoy it out there. Have fun and drive safely. Don't forget to use the 3-second rule so you don't tailgate people, and use your turn signals, and just drive mindfully so that you can enjoy your life and not have a problem. All right, write your Motor Mouth questions down for next week, because Matt and Jeff will be back next Saturday morning. Thanks again.